the best male player in Singapore, is up in the first semi-final, taking on Parasak T from Thailand. After winning through the round-robin stages yesterday, both players had plenty of matches to negotiate, but came through them safely. And they go head-to-head in the best of 7 sets to make it through into the final. Zhao Ning already has a gold medal to his name in this 29th SEA Games in the doubles, partnered by Pang Zhiyi. They came through that a couple of days ago. 35 years of age, vastly experienced. Actually the training partner of Clarence Chu, the youngster or one of the youngsters in the Singapore team, so looking to impart some of his experience on the younger members of the team. Parasak could only manage a bronze in the doubles, did take the mixed doubles title though, to give Thailand a gold medal in the table tennis. Singapore are guaranteed another gold medal in the women's singles after Feng Tianwei and Zhu Yihan both won their respective semi-finals. Coin toss to see who'll serve first. Somewhat of a difference in physical appearance between these two as well. So first of four games will win the match and a place in the table tennis men's finals. Zhao Ning is the defending champion from 2 years ago in Singapore. 3 gold medals for him on that occasion in the team and the doubles. And there's no doubt with the way that Singapore have performed so far in the opening rounds of table tennis, they will be among the favourites to take the men's and women's team titles this year that get underway in a couple of days. Left-hander Parasak. So the warm-up is done, and it's time to get the semi-final underway in the first game.
On my right, from Singapore, Zhao Ning. On my left, from Thailand, Parasak. First game, Zhao Ning to serve. Love.
So Singapore to serve first.
One, love.
So spin generated on that serve.
Love, 2.
Good start this from Singapore. A couple of points already for Zhao Ning. First to 11, don't forget. Serve changes rotation after every 2.
2. 3. 1. Four, 1. One, 5.
It's been a good start from Zhao in this one. 5-1 up already. They're generating plenty of spin on that serve, making life difficult for Padasak to generate a good return. Zhao forcing his opponent further and further from the table. So that target to get the ball back becomes very small the further away from the table you are. 6-1. And a good first game so far.
Seven, 1. 8-1.
Using all his experience, Zhao Ning.
One, 9.
2 more points needed for the opening game.
One, 10.
So 9 points to seal the opening game for Zhao Ning. It's been a very dominant start for the man from Singapore.
11-1. First game.
And takes
to
it comfortably.
Gao
A great start for the defending champion. Barely broke sweat in that opening game. Just 1 point conceded. It's a vastly experienced character, of course. 35 years of age now. Won the 2010 Commonwealth Games gold medal. So he's a man who succeeded at the highest level.
Love. Yeah. 11-1. First game to Gao Ning. Time.
So second game then, it's Padasak to serve first.
To serve, love all. One, love. Love, 2.
Better start to this game from Padasak. Already exceeded his points tally from the first game. Serve switches to Singapore.
One, 2. Next. 2 all. Three, 2. 3-4. Five, 3.
Thailand managing just to maintain a slender advantage, or maintain a slender advantage rather.
Let's. 5-4.
That's good battling back from Jianing. Back to 5-all. See the reaction from the Thai every time a point's won. He knows how vital they'll be against such an experienced opponent. 6-5 Thailand lead.
All. 7-6. Let's. 6-9.
A chance for Thailand. A couple of points needed to take the second game and level it up at 1-all. Been a much better performance from Padasak this time around. 11-1 in the first game to Jianing. Again, forcing the error. Those vicious forehands. Forcing Padasak further and further away from the table. There's the Thai that now has the serve. 2 points needed to win.
9-8.
And all of a sudden the gap reduces to 1. Zhao with a little bit of momentum now as we approach the important part of the game. He's annoyed with himself at the moment, Padasak, for letting that lead slip. So game point for Thailand. Still on the Jianing serve.
Second game to Padasak.
Take the game to level it up at 1-1. So a much better performance from Padasak that time. 11-9, having lost the opening game 11-1. Maybe a few nerves in the semi-finals, but not showing them in that second game. Look back at some of the highlights, more highlights from the tie in that second game.
Love 2. Second game to Padasak.
Still much happier with his performance after that game. Chana needs to get himself together for game 3. Best of 7, don't forget, in the semi-finals and final.
Third game, Gao-Ning to serve, love all.
Singapore to serve.
One love. Love 2. Love 3.
Better start to game 3 for Jianing. 3 love up already.
3-1.
Looks like we're back to the same sort of form as the first game now from Jianing. 5-1 up already. Padasak just taking a moment to compose himself.
One, 6. Left. 6-2.
Just clipped the edge of the table, so Thailand's second point of the game.
Right. Seven, 2.
Singapore very much in control of this third game. He's just stepped it up again, Jianing. Been very good on his serve so far in all 3 games.
3-8.
Disappointed with that one.
9-3.
Two more points needed for a 2-1 lead for Singapore. Amazing turnaround in this game. Padasak has gone back to his form of the first, where he was soundly beaten.
11,
soundly beaten
that game to
in the
Gao
third
Ning.
game as well. So Singapore take a 2-1 lead. First one to 4 games, don't forget, takes it through or takes a place in the final. As we mentioned, Clarence Chu for Singapore in the other men's semi-final. So 11-1, 9-11, 11-3 so far. The scores have been in the 3 matches played.
Love 3. 9. 11-3. That game to
Jianing competed in the 2016 Olympics in Brazil. He was knocked out in the second round by Paul Drinkall from Great Britain. Thrilling match, went all the way to 7 matches. Drinkall triumphing 11-8 in the 7th game to book himself a place in the 3rd round.
4th game. Padasak to serve. Love all.
So game 4 then, Padasak will have the serve first.
One love. One all. Two, one. One, 3. Two, 3.
That's a good return from Padasak, forcing the error from Jianing. It's great pace on that forehand.
Three, all.
Looking less than pleased with himself at times, Jianing, for some of these errors.
Three, 4.
That's a great return from Padasak. Jianing was expecting that one. Got great pace on the forehand, but the left-handed tie managing to get the ball back and force the win up. That was there for the taking that time for Singapore, and Zhao made no mistake. So Singapore have clawed this one back now to 5 points all. Padasak, you feel, would want to win this one to square it up at 2-2. Going 3-1 down makes life very, very difficult. No more margin for error at 3-1 down. Long way to go in this game, though.
6-5.
That's a great winner. Padasak comes up with a brilliant shot when needed. Just a flick of the wrist to send the ball away for the winner. 6-all. So you don't need me to tell you when Thailand win a point. Padasak does that himself. Great reaction every time he wins a single point. And he has a slight advantage here, 8-6. 3 more points needed to level it up at 2 games all. Good spin on that serve from Zhao Ning. Once again, clawing things back. Didn't quite manage to do it in game 2. Lost out 11-9, but got to 9-all at one point. Can he do the same here? He has got back to 9-all, just flicked the top of the net, which had the ball spinning away and off the table, so Padasak has missed an opportunity to close out the game, but he was in a similar position in game 2. There's been a timeout called as well. Let's have a look here. Yeah, just flicked the top of the net. Zhao's turn to clench the fist. Stern words from his coach by the look of it as well, as he takes stock of the situation. So 9-all.
to serve. 9-all.
First error on the serve from Zhao Ning, immediately following the timeout. A rare service error, and it's given Padasak a point for the game to take us to 2-2. Oh, brilliant rally. Brilliant rally, and Zhao Ning wins the point, but a couple of times there Padasak must have thought he'd come up with winners. Zhao Ning using all his experience to get that final forehand back across. Low over the net. An error from Padasak, and we're back to 10-all. Has to be a 2-point gap, don't forget, to win the game, so we will continue. And now Zhao Ning has a point to take a 3-1 lead. How things can turn around so quickly. Can't take the winner though, back to 11-all. He disgusted with himself about that shot. Well, has to forget about it now and regroup and get back to the table to receive the Padasak serve. And can't return the serve. So game point to Thailand. Well, he's missed the table, so the point goes to Thailand and levelled up at 2 games all. 13-11. So games 1 and 3 completely contrasting to his performance in games 2 and 4 for Padasak. Lost 11-1 and 11-3 before winning 11-9 and 13-11. If that patterns to continue, it should be an easy win for Zhao Ning in this game, but I don't think that will happen somehow. Let's look at Padasak's performance of some of these winners in that last game. Zhao Ning putting on the early pressure. There was the winning point when the Singaporean failed to hit the table. Padasak, 14 years his opponent's junior. So game 5.
5th game, Zhao Ning to serve, love all. One love. Love 2. Love 3.
And once again, Zhao Ning piling on the pressure. Just wonder what happened in that last game. As at times he's looked almost unbeatable. Padasak no answer to some of these vicious forehands.
Five, love.
Serve working well for Singapore as well at the moment.
Love, 6.
Okay, change ball. Break, change ball.
A bit of damage to the ball, which means we'll have a quick knock up so they can get used to the new ball. Both happy. Padasak to serve.
Love, 6. Love, 7. Seven, 1. Eight, 1.
They're still very much in control here, Xiaoning. Leads 8-1. 3 more points for a 3-1 lead, a 3-2 lead rather. And again, back in the same scenario, leaving him 1 game short of victory.
1, 9.
Oh, would you believe it?
10.
What a fortunate break for Jianing. The ball looped up. Padasak was waiting for it to hit the table. It's flicked off the edge and gone almost at 90 degrees, and he just can't legislate for that. Padasak shakes his head in disbelief, and it's 9 game points once again for Jianing.
10-2.
Emotionless on the face of the Singaporean. You'll know he was a little bit fortunate there, though. Leading 10-2.
11.
And there is the game, so 11-2. So another of those one-sided matches creeps in. A 4-1 lead now, 4-2 lead now to Singapore. And again, Padasak needs to regroup and win the next game to take us into a final decider. Here's a look at that lob that Padasak was just waiting for it to hit the table, and it's just caught the edge and gone at 90 degrees, and the look on his face says it all. So Xiaoning leading. The scores, to remind you again, 11-1, 9-11, 11-3, 11-13, 11-2. We've had Dancing Thai supporter once again. He's been very prominent at the table tennis over the last couple of days, adding a bit of colour, adding a bit of noise as well when he starts playing his drum. Fortunately not doing that while play is in progress. Well, here we go then, match 6. Singapore need to take this to win the game and go into the final.
Love all.
Padasak needs to win it to take us into a 7th and final game.
Love 1.
a rally, the best rally of the game so far. Padasak was almost up against the boards at the back of the area, and somehow he still managed to put Zhao Ning under pressure. Wonderful play from both players. Fighting for his life. In the end, he couldn't quite get that final one back, and Singapore take a 3-love lead.
1-3. Four. 1-4.
I think the umpire has adjudged that Padasak touched the table with his non-racket hand there, which gives the points away.
Table.
Well, he's not happy about the decision.
1-4. No, I saw table.
I think he's hit the table with the end with his leg, which he's not allowed to do, and he's not happy. So he's the Thailand coach. It hands a point to Singapore.
There was a sound just now, so I saw
Well, he's saying that he hit the table with his leg. Padasak's saying that his foot caught underneath the table. But any part of the body that touches the table gives a point away to the opposition. So just a brief wait while the officials discuss this, but clearly Padasak and his coach weren't happy with the initial decision.
No.
Well, Padasak's coach is making an objection as well here.
1-4.
I think he knows he's not going to win the argument, so Padasak will just have to get on with this. Now trailing 1-4. Does manage to recover and win the point. Zhao Ning trying to stay focused on the job in hand despite the interruption. Still clearly not happy. You can tell by the look on his face, Padasak's still not happy with that decision made by the umpire.
3-6.
Forehand channeling his aggression, should I say, into winning the point. Well, the game has followed a similar pattern. The odd games rather, have all gone in the favour of Singapore, while the even games have been very highly contested by Thailand. 6-5, Singapore on serve. I just called a timeout here. Reminder of the state of play. If Singapore win this game, Zhao Ning is through to the final. If Padasak takes this 6th game, then we go through to a 7th and deciding match. Singapore guaranteed a goal, don't forget, in the women's singles. Feng Tianwei and Zhu Yihan will contest that final. Women's final this afternoon, the men's final later on this evening. And it's the start of the team competition.
Let. 6-7.
So good battling back from Padasak, 7-all. Every point at a premium now as we approach the tail end of this game. Singapore on serve, leading 8-7. So match point to Singapore. Zhao Ning, the defending champion, gold medal winner 2 years ago, has been in a real tussle here with Thailand. He's managed to get himself on the verge of victory with a game to spare. Can he clinch it here? That's another of those wonderful rallies to finish the game. But victory goes to Singapore by 11 points to 7. And Zhao Ning goes into the final to try and win himself a 2nd consecutive gold medal in the Southeast Asian Games. 11-1, 9-11, 11-3, 11-13, 11-2, 11-7. A 4-2 win over a very worthy opponent who will have to be content with a bronze medal. Padasak was a worthy opponent, but beaten by the more experienced man on the day. That moment of controversy in that last game when Padasak's leg was adjudged to have touched the table, and a point went to Zhao Ning. But in the end, it was victory, as Singapore's fantastic record in the table tennis looks set to continue, and it could well be an all-Singapore final if Clarence Chu can come through his semi. Zhao Ning safely in the final though, after a 4-2 win over Padasak from Thailand.
As well as the women's singles, we're going to take a short break for lunch. When we come back 2 p.m, we begin the final for the women's singles.
Love. Love 2.